What's up, guys? Welcome back to another HERR Lounge podcast. So excited to be with my patrons today. Ooh, you saw I got patrons. I said it, not Patreons.
I like to be with my patrons today. I almost felt like you're about to start a sermon for a second.
You know, I know. I think everybody thinks that at some point.
Real Talk Soul.
Real Talk Soul. Well, you know, speaking of that, Kelly Jean, we had her at the very top of the year. She's been more on her, Bible study for women, and she's really been posting it. And she just posted one yesterday, and I reposted it on my story. And she was like, man, it took everything out of me to post it. She was like, I was really feeling insecure. And I was like, not to be religious, but I feel like God is telling you to do this, you should do it. And if you feel like you're going to touch women's hearts by, preaching and telling them, educating them about what you feel in your heart you want to talk about, then I don't see why you should be like,
it is weird because people always say like, I don't want to be preachy, but sometimes some of the things you say come off kind of preachy, and it's all right.
And she's honestly not being preachy too. She's got a great approach, almost like my friend that I told you how she snuck it in, like, oh, there's a free playground when you take your daughter. And I was like, oh, okay. Until this day, her nor her husband make me feel like, oh, why haven't we seen you at church today? So I was like, hey, so good to see you. Glad you made it. That's it. Hey, so good. Glad you made it. It's never like,
where you been?
Yes. And that to me, exactly. And that to me makes me feel like welcomed.
Yeah.
So on our last episode, if you listened on Wednesday, guys,
peppermint mocha. Jeez.
And all I had was a piece of toast because I was waiting for my meals.
Bro.
Did you forget my meals?
I did. I did. Dawn's gonna kill me.
Dawn, if you are listening to this, I was like, he's like, do you want to eat? I'm like, no, my meals come today. Because you know what? I know she doesn't offer that, but I might need to start getting for Saturday and Sunday.
Just more, yeah. I mean, if you need it,
because we're out by Saturday and Sunday. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, what do you want to eat? Because we haven't cooked the whole week because we get our meals made, and it's just like, oh, well, you want to go out to eat? Well, yeah, let's just order something. You know what I'm saying? Because we've not had to buy groceries because of this.
I'm literally gonna text talk this. How did you let me leave the house without Mighty Soul's meals? She was on a conference call. She's gonna be so pissed.
Oh my God, Rob.
Apologies.
But we were talking about vision boards, right? And like how I want to have this vision board thing. And I thought, even if we don't have it, I thought I'd give you guys like some tips on how you should create your vision board, however it is. One thing Itza gave an idea for at the top of the year, guys, is you can go use this app named Canva, which I use a lot. She told me about it. And you can make a... what do you call it? A
vision board?
A vision.
Any graphic.
Any graphic. It's just like, and then she made it her home picture, right? Like her homepage picture on her phone, so that anytime she grabs her phone, it's a reminder of what your vision is for this next year, which I thought was a genius idea, because I have it in, I know this is crazy, but I think I told you guys that I took down this frame I had in my restroom, and I put a calendar, like dry erase board in there, and then a cork board over it, which is where our vision board is, so that we can stay focused. Because you're in the shower, you brush your teeth, you go to the restroom. If you see these things constantly, you're constantly reminded. I feel like your brain kind of starts to like program that way. If you have it on your phone, then you see it also constantly. And, here's some tips that I found that if you create this vision board for yourself, that you could, take with you, that'll maybe work for you to stay focused. One, obviously, is keep your focus, right? Keep good vibes around you at all times. I really am big on that. And I guess like the minute I feel someone is giving me just like, I can only do them for a couple of minutes. Those type of people I really try to stay away from, because there's a reason why you can only do them for a couple of minutes.
Absolutely.
So keep those people out of your life. The ones that are like, yeah. It was funny. I think I posted it yesterday. Someone said, when anybody thinks your idea is silly, remember there's a millionaire that made these, and it's those pool noodles.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Those come back all the time. They're used for many things. Guess what? When there's the piping stuff, when your shit freezes and there's no more at the store, right? At Home Depot or Lowe's, wherever you go get it, you can buy a noodle, cut it open, wrap your pipes, wrap tape with it, and it's the equivalent, just so you know. So those noodles, those noodles really, so I'm just giving you an example. So anybody tries to tell you or is negative, give them the middle finger. That's all I got to say. Make a concrete plan, right? Like make a plan and stick to it, right? Because as my husband says, it's systems, not goals. So make a plan, make it simple. I say that even with fitness too. Like, don't say you're going to lose 30 pounds in a month, because you're not going to lose 30 pounds. Or I'd like to lose 30. Yeah, we'd all like to lose 30 in a month, but 30 is like over the top. So just make it simple. Take inspired action, and whether it be you listening to this podcast, whether it's, being involved in our Facebook group, whether it's you have your own group of women that, keep you inspired, whatever it is that keeps fueling your soul, keep doing that. When we talked about like budgeting for it, and I'm just giving you guys this as an example, which is not so much, it is because it's about life, right? Paying a trainer costs money. Paying for meals costs money. Paying for supplements costs money. But all things are going to keep me healthy so that I don't have to go see a doctor all the time. You know what I'm saying? It saves me money in the long run so that I'm able to live longer, a healthier lifestyle. I'm able to influence my children better by them seeing that I eat vegetables, that I eat, although Penny says I don't like broccoli, but I'll eat carrots because of the Coco Melon song. But you know what I'm saying? I'm
Health
like,
as well.
I said, you don't eat carrots. Stop lying, But, it's little things like that. So, you have to find what's worth it to you, like where you're going to spend your money to keep you focused. And if it's like paying for a trainer, if it's paying for meals, you know what I'm saying? Like I told Dawn the other day, I was like, I'm so glad that I've started to get meals cooked for me, right? Because that's probably the key thing when you're prepping for a competition. If you don't prep your food, you're unprepared, and then it's like that's where you go to the shitty food, or like, damn, what can I find that's quick that I can make quick? Here it's just like I already know my food's measured. I already know. Granted, it's not my numbers, right? But it's healthy and it's weighed, and I'm not overeating, which still keeps you in shape if you're working out and you're doing all the things you're supposed to do. So I do want to have the guy from supplement place right here, Nutrition Depot, come on and talk about supplements for women that are beneficial. So I think that would be great, because I'm gonna post for the ladies. By the time y'all hear this, it should already be posted. But supplements that I take and why I take them and what they're good for. And granted, right now I'm taking a prenatal. And it's because of the breastfeeding. They're still good for you to take while you're breastfeeding. But besides that one, I want to show them like the brand that I use, why I use these, and what they're great for. So, especially if you're getting up there in age, I wish I would have started even younger. I didn't start taking vitamins and supplements and all that until I was 25.
That's still super young. Yeah,
but I only did a vitamin and
like a multivitamin.
That was it. I didn't do all the other ones that I do now. Like now I take a bone strength, I take an iron, I take vitamin D, I take zinc. I take like a whole party.
Yeah, we have two, like the old people have the little containers with Dawn and I have two each.
Yeah. So it's like we take all these supplements, you know what I'm saying? And I stay on top of it. Pete's a little bit more like falls off, and he'll be like, hey, I need to get myself okay. And he depends on me. And then, I have 100 things going on. And it's like, hey, did you order my vitamins? I didn't, you know what I'm saying? But I'll get to it, type of thing. But vitamins are really important, guys. And I don't really know why that I got into that subject, but I guess it was because I said, do what inspires you. And that's what keeps me inspired. Staying healthy, going to the gym, you know what I'm saying? Eating right. It makes me feel good, and then makes me want to stay focused on other things. Because if you feel good, then I feel like you can be focused on everything else.
For sure.
variety of resources, like whatever you're going to do to accomplish these goals, kind of find the resources, start doing your research on like how you're going to accomplish that. I'll go back to the fitness thing because, you know, it's like, so if I want to lose weight, what do I have to do? Well, I probably need to get, you know, on a meal plan, or I need to like probably watch, count my macros. A lot of people do that. It works for them. I hate that. I don't want to count them. I want someone else to count them for me. So you figure out my numbers and I'll just follow your lead. Thank you. Goodbye. That's what works for me. I have way too much on my plate. I don't want to think about counting anything. So, and free space. And I'll say what I mean by free space. I have done the biggest clear out of my house.
Is that what that is?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
That came out of your closet?
Penny's, the girls, and mine.
Oh, okay.
And Pete gave 2 whole other bags to Joseph.
That size?
Huh?
That size?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Did a lot of cleaning.
Yes.
A lot of organizing.
So I've done that. I talked about how I was hoarding stuff from size 6, size 8 that I was before pre-baby. And it's probably going to take me a little while to get there because it took me a little while to get there when I became that size. And instead of holding on to it, I just feel like get rid of it. When you're there, then you'll be there. You know what I'm saying? And you'll probably want new shit anyway. So just do that, right? I'm going to go clear out my storage unit, the second one that I have. If you're wondering, you have 2. Yes, I do. But on that note, yeah, and I have winter boxes there, like containers.
Like okay. What, decorations?
No, winter clothes.
Oh, jeez.
5 big winter containers.
Dude, what?
So I told Pete what I'm going to go do is I'm going to just go grab my favorite black big coat, right? And I have a few puffers that are my favorite ones that I wear all the time, but I'll see a new color, so I'll wear it, and I'll only wear that new color for a hot minute, and then I'm like, I'm not going to wear it anymore. I already got the little itch that I got about wearing that color is out. So I told him, I'm just going to grab my favorite puffers, the one black jacket, and then the one like nice, like to go to church jacket, right? It's like a big coat. I'm not going to look at anything else in there. I don't care how expensive it is. I don't care nothing. Those bags are going to Mexico to help some kids and like this, where my mom's friend is from. It's like a ranch and it's like a whole community of people. And that's where that's going to go get donated
that's
to.
Cool.
Yeah. And so I told him, I'm just going to go buy more of these bags and I'm not even going to look at anything. I'm just going to dump and I'm going to dump and I'm going to dump and I'm going to dump. And I said, you're only taking out the jacket that you really are going to use. I just bought 2 new jackets because they were cute. You see what I'm saying? No need, but okay. On that note, and that's what I'm going to do. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just not going to, I'm not even going to think about it. And that's what I mean by free space. So free up your space that's making you feel cluttered or maybe like, you know, things that you're not using anymore, but they're sitting in your closet or in your garage. They're just sitting there. You're not using it, you know. I'm big on decorations for the like fall, for Easter, for blah, blah, blah. And that's really, if I had an attic that could store all that, I wouldn't need like a storage space, unit. Yeah. But I don't have an attic that can store all that. It's literally just like this little square and that's it. And I have suitcases there. That's what I have.
You know, we've talked about Grandma's Boy, the movie before.
Yes.
You know, Nick Swartzen?
Yeah.
Okay. So he was on Theo's podcast this week.
Yes, I started hearing him. Oh my God.
Oh, you started already?
I started listening to it when they were talking about the butthole thing.
Yeah. If you want something silly to just kind of like, you know, detach for a little bit, that was a great hour and some change to listen to. But somewhere in the middle or so, he talks about where he just, during COVID, he just kind of like gave up on everything. Yeah, he went to Key West.
Yeah,
you know,
I listened to that part.
Okay. He got rid of everything.
Yes.
Everything. He's like, I got like 8 shirts, you know, some shoes and shorts. Like, I don't need all this shit. Like, what am I doing? And Nick Swartzen is a very wealthy man. Mm-hmm. And he's just like, I need simple shit. Like, what am I doing with all this stuff?
Yeah.
And that's what it kind of sounded like you were.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. The bad thing with my husband is that he has to have stage clothes. Mm-hmm. And obviously, once you photograph in it, you probably can't. And so one of the things that we decided on was keep the classic jackets, which are your classic, which what I mean by that is blue jean shirts. It's like those are one thing that never goes out of style pretty much. One way or the other, they come back. Blue jean jackets. Those are never out of style either. Kind of like simple, solid color long sleeves. Pretty much are like an everyday thing that you can use, and then just keep like the jeans that you use. So we kind of like minimalized it in a way. But that's the second thing with him is that he has to have stage clothes, and then I mean, at one point I was only buying Forever 21 clothes for him, like just like little cheaper brand stuff. So that it wouldn't hurt when we got rid of it, where literally it'd be like, you wore it already, cool, it's in the bag, we'd give it to Luisa, legit. Like when we'd come back, I'd take it to the cleaners, I said, here you go, take this. But then it was like, well, that's becoming very wasteful, you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay. And so we just kind of decided if we buy more of the name brand good quality stuff that can be reused because it's just going to last a while, then that's what we're going to do. So we have a plan. If you don't have a plan, make that a plan, guys. And I know that was a talk about nothing there, but that's what I'm just telling you. It's like I'm at that point, man. I'm such a like, oh my God, I saw the best thing yesterday, guys. And I have to tell y'all this because that's kind of where I'm at right now. And I'm just like over myself, I think. I don't know. I just feel like
you're having a midlife crisis right now.
I think I am. Check this out. How to tell you're an adult. You gain 30 pounds overnight. You'd rather sleep than go out. Everything hurts. Comfort comes before style. Facts. You have a favorite spatula. I have a favorite pan, but not a spatula. Everything feels like a chore. College students look like 12-year-olds. You're always annoyed as fuck. Is that not true? Like about, oh my God. I was reading him to pee and he goes, screenshot that shit. I was like, I know. I saw it on Shop's wife's story. And I was just like, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. Where, like I said, my friend sent me this thing too about, and we're going to talk about goals here, guys, but I just got to tell y'all this little side story. She sends me this thing about her son now, kind of doing the promotions and stuff for this club here in Houston. And she's like, if you guys ever want to go out, I can get y'all the table and da-da-da-da. And I was like, yeah, I just replied. I said, I have zero desire to go to any club. I said, I have zero desire to stay out anything past 10 o'clock. And I have zero desire to sit around a bunch of people with loud music. I was like, so I'll tell my little cousins about it. I'm like, but I said, I partied so much. I'm so glad though. I really am glad that I partied so hard at a young age to where now going to a new coffee shop is so fun to me.
Oh, speaking of, you ever been to Anonymous on Kirby?
No, but that's right down the street from us.
You would love this place.
Kirby right here by like River Oaks and all that?
I think. I haven't been to the new location, but this place used to be in Sugarland. And the owners are these very adorable, it's a Greek couple. They had it in Sugarland and they ran into issues with their building and a relative who also had another spot in that building. And it became an ugly feud over like commercial real estate. They got booted out, all this jazz. It took them like a year, and then the pandemic hit. And then somehow, they've been surviving, I guess, because from a friend told me, but I've seen them on Instagram, dude, and they make the best Greek pastries every morning in-house.
I like Greek coffee, too. That shit goes hard.
Dude.
Because it's strong.
We got to check it out.
Let's do it. Maybe that's where we should have our meeting.
Oh. No, that's good. Yeah.
That's what we always have them anyway.
You're right. Absolutely. Excuse me. I'll get the address and we'll figure it out.
I think so. Yeah, so that's kind of like that's kind of where I'm at. And so I sent these things to Ilse. As you guys know, we had her on the podcast. You guys heard the last episode. I hope you guys take up on even just taking her class. I promise you guys it'll be so beneficial to you, even if you're trying to kick off your personal Instagram page.
And if you didn't catch both of them, which we're on the Patreon episode, so of course you did. I don't know if this will make it into the clip, probably not, but I hope that got people to want to go sign up to get the second part of that Patreon episode.
Yeah.
Because Dawn listened to it. She's like, am I gonna like Ilse's episode? And I was like, they're all great. I think you'll get a lot of information out of it. And then she was like, motivated as fuck. Like she listened to it and she was like gung ho. And I think Marissa was also like posting in the group about it. So that's great. I'm glad it brought the value that you wanted it to.
And that's exactly what I wanted, because I think a lot of times, speaking about entrepreneurship and so, I think we're all afraid, you know what I'm saying? There's always some kind of fear in it, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like it's the unknown, you know? You don't know if you'll be successful. You don't know how many people are going to like you. One of the things that I love about Edith says that she always says, and I think I've said this before also, it's my mom used to always say whenever I wanted to buy something that was like in style, and she just kind of wanted to make sure that it was something that I wanted, not just because other kids were using it, she'd say, yo soy quien soy y no me parezco a nadie, right? Which is kind of what Ilse says. Is basically like, there's you, and then there's other people who do the same business as you, but they're not you. And that's kind of how, like, my mom always raised us to think, like, there's women all over the world, but there's only one Marisol. So whoever Marisol is, it's like, people are going to like you for who you are. Don't try to be like anybody else. Don't try to copy anybody else. It's great to get ideas from other people. That's obviously why I follow a lot of accounts, why I watch what they do. I'm not somebody, like I said, I'm not somebody that feels like, bitch, you know? I feel like, damn, she's doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's got it. Like, she figured it out. And that to me is like a very motivating, you know? And so that's why I felt like Ilse was going to be very, very useful to have on, because I feel like if you haven't yet, you know, like if you haven't tried to like really go full force with your business yet because you're afraid, I think she pretty much told you, like, it's about starting, you know what I'm saying? And it's about going for it. And it's about like you realizing that, yes, there's a ton of your businesses, but what makes you different and what makes you set aside from, you know, anybody else. I know that there's a lot of apparel accounts out there. I'm not the only one. There's a lot of like independent also women out here who are doing, there's an all Texas brand out there that just makes Texas shirts, right? So there's a bunch of stuff out there who people, for me, it's like I said, whenever I'm having a shitty day, right? I like to like, or like I'm having just one of like those days, I'll be like, which shirt is going to make me feel good today? All right. I think Mujer Poderosa, which is one of my shirts, right? I'll put it on because I feel like I'm going to do this today. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to do this today. And so I think those are some things, that I find important. Some things that I want to work on, is, to be honest with you, is, again, being more informative. And so I don't know how, because when I told her the story about the coffee that I was drinking, the mug I was using that day, that inhale the bullshit, inhale the good shit, exhale the bullshit. How that came about was from Cafecito Time, right? And I love drinking out of that cup, which is a funny thing, you know? And she's like, well, did you tell anybody that story? I was like, no, because I didn't care. I don't think anybody cared to hear that story. But it's true. If you tell somebody the story behind your reason why you made this or you made that, I think it makes more people want to have that item, especially if they can relate to you, which I don't think I do a good job on my apparel account. I think I do a good job of taking the pictures. I think a good job of like showing you how you can wear it, but I never tell you anything behind the actual reason for that design, or when I designed that and I gave the idea to the graphic designer, what I gave you, you know what I'm saying? Like, I never told you, you know, I've never said what sparked that idea, right? So it's almost like Her Lounge podcast. We were at a brewery that one day, right?
Yeah.
Or like the Trunk, or what's it called? Truck Yard. And I have found the video, Rob, the other day as I was cleaning out. I was trying to make space because I couldn't download iMovies. And I was trying to make space. And
we both said we were getting the new phone. We didn't.
I still haven't gotten it. I haven't had time to go. That's honestly. And I found the video of me being inside the truck yard, and in there it just said lounge with the sofa underneath, and it was like so girly. It was pink, and you know, it just looked like my jam in there. Like, I was like, oh yeah. And I was like, oh my God, that's it. Her Lounge. And that's when I came out of the restroom. Remember? I was like, I got it, Rob. I know the name of my podcast now. It's HERR Lounge Podcast. And that's how the name came about, guys. HERR Apparel. I told you guys it was Thiccc before. And then from Thiccc, I was like really trying to figure out what the other name was going to be because I didn't know. And then it was like, what name could I have that could incorporate like the, you know, like me and da da da. And I was just like, wait, I was signing something and I saw my name, like Marisol R. And I was like, HER, because it's like a gazillion R's in Herrera, right? I was like HERR. Wait, HER. HERR. Wait. Text David. I said, David, I got the name of my business, because he said, don't tell me nothing right now. Quit trying to like go back and forth with the names. Let it come to you. Almost like HERR Lounge kind of happened, because I knew I wanted it to be her, but I didn't know what it was going to be, blah, blah, blah. And that's how HERR Apparel came about. Was my last name is Herrera, so the her part I took, and it just happened to be that it's her. You know what I'm saying? So my pronoun. Just kidding. Like I had to do that in there.
Shots fired.
So yeah, so I don't think I do a good enough job of telling people.
So proud of that one. So proud of that. That was good. I'm not gonna lie, that was good. Right now, Marissa's like, God damn, we couldn't go one episode without bringing up pronouns.
Yeah, so I wanted to, like, you know, I want to be able to tell the story behind whatever the design is that I bring out. Like,
do you, I mean, I imagine that you have an idea for those. You just never really, like, conceptualize it on social media in any kind of way.
Yeah. Like, the whole thing, like, again, the whole thing behind the mom gang thing, I just really thought about, like, we are a gang. It's almost like we're a gang of a bunch of moms just trying to make motherhood what it is. And you know what I'm saying? It's like we all have an idea of what motherhood is. We're just all doing it different, you know? And it's like, we're just a mom gang.
The next season of Working Moms is going to come out next month, I think.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I can't wait. Well, it's coming out for Canada first.
It's always Canada first,
right?
yeah.
And then it's us, yeah. So yeah, that's kind of how I feel. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just kind of feel like I'm not doing a good enough job on my apparel. Of if you are a brand that wants to empower women, I don't feel I'm doing a good enough job of telling people why these items make me feel empowered when I wear them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think so. So that's just my opinion. And so those are some of the things that we're going to talk about. I'd like for the podcast account to also be a little bit more like, you know, where there's a way that we can introduce like quotes of the day, because I do, you know, that's a big thing for me on the podcast, right? So who are you? Oh, I'm somebody that really likes to push women and motivate women, and thankfully you do a good job of catching those parts in the reels. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like we just need to, like, I just need to be like a little bit more. So I think I want to do like quote of the day, kind of like how I do. But like Itza said, she's like, I think it'd be better if instead of Rob taking the clip from your podcast, if you do it, looking at it. She goes, and then you can do it at your own leisure time whenever you feel like it, and da da da. So I was like, okay, that's not a bad idea. And then, because like I was talking about on the first podcast, you know, my little thing that I have on my title of my personal page is the Mom Wife Hustler. I also want that to be more apparent on my personal page, and because I want to show the single girl who, you know what I'm saying, who's maybe following me, that it just takes a little bit work, and it's, you know, you can make your business successful or whatever it is. It's okay to be a mom. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to not have kids if you're 35 and still don't have anything. Like, I want people to be, like, I just want literally for it to be like, get it together, guys. It's 2022. The fucking metaverse is trying to take over us. It's trying to replace us females. It really is. And I refuse to have some fucking little game replace females. That's all I'm saying.
Get it together.
In 2022, I'm going to make it impossible for the metaverse to replace females. Ladies, your man will be able to go to strip clubs in this metaverse. You're going to walk in one day. He's going to have these fucking these VR thing on his head, and he's gonna be throwing money, and you're gonna be like, what's going on? And he's gonna be deep in some other bitch in his metaverse. Meanwhile, you're like, what? Like, what's going on here? And I refuse to be second to some little fantasy world. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, especially when they have attachments, you know, that are gonna let you experience some of the things that you would.
See, Rob, don't tell me that.
Oh yeah, they already have that. You know, you remember the back in the day, at the early days of Rogan, you would see the fleshlight as a sponsor, right?
Yeah.
Well, now let's talk about augmented reality, VR.
Well, tell people what a fleshlight is first.
A fleshlight is basically it looks like a flashlight that can be, you can even get a custom vagina of your choosing. We can have something custom molded. You can even buy porn stars. You can buy porn stars, or whatever, just something off the shelf.
It's for men to use.
Of course, yeah. And then now they're going to have these attachments where you're going to have the VR goggles on and attachments to your body, and you'll feel the sensation, and they'll use haptic feedback, I'm sure.
So will the male be able to orgasm for real?
I mean, some guys, they just look at a hot chick and they'll blow a load.
True.
So I'm sure they'll have plenty of chances to experience it all.
Yeah, I'm not ready for that, and that's why get it together, ladies. And it's like, I don't give a fuck, you know, for the ones that are like, I don't give a fuck if a man, yeah, you do.
Yeah, okay.
Because otherwise you finna turn lesbian.
Orange is the new black. Everyone's going to be...
Yeah, orange is the new black, for real, in 2022, if we don't, like, really get out there and take charge again and take over and rule the world.
Yeah, I guess you have to be one of those type of leaders, you know? You have to be one of those, what do we call them? They're like, you know... I make fun of this phrase sometimes on RPT, but it is applicable when it makes sense. Like a thought leader, right? Mm-hmm. Or a person who's driving a community or driving almost like a mission, you know? Mm-hmm. Like the mission here is like, let's not let women lose out on all the things that they've worked to build over the last couple of decades over technology and I guess, sorry, Marissa, trans stuff.
I saw something else about that. I want to bring it up.
What?
So don't bring me. Don't take
Come on, I want to hear it. What'd you see?
I just, you know, like when we were talking about earlier, where they're really going to try to make it to where men are going to be able to have children.
Oh, right.
And they're going to really, I can't believe this is what trips me out, is that people can sit there and try to figure out how men can have children, right? But you can't figure out and work just as hard to cure cancer, Alzheimer's, dementia, anything else that's really serious in this fucking world. It goes to that. And for someone who's probably wanting to transition or whatever, it's like, fuck you, bitch. This is just as important.
Sure.
It's kind of not, because that's life or death. Yours is just something that you want. And I get it. It's something that you feel inside, and it's something that it's making you unhappy. But if you've ever like had a family member, you know, have cancer, and you just wish that there was like they didn't have to go through chemo or radiation, that it could just be like something that you have a surgery, it gets fixed, you're good to go, and it's not going to come back. I would rather that versus you fucking sitting there figuring out how the hell you're going to allow a male to have a baby. No. But anyway, I didn't want to go down that rabbit hole, Rob.
I had to know when you say it like that. When I see your face, I'm like, it had to have triggered something.
Right? I mean, don't you think about that?
Yeah.
You're sitting there trying to figure that out, but you can't figure out how to cure these other diseases.
Well, in all fairness, I don't think those same people are trying to figure those things out anyway. It's just some other, you know, wacko smart people that are trying to figure this part out.
But why?
I don't know.
Bitch, go be smart about that. You'd be loved way more. So many other people who are suffering from that. Obesity. Because obesity is where?
Yeah,
it's here mental.
Yeah,
so we can figure out obesity, find the root of it, and find something that could be rewired, right? So that we're not obese. You know what's crazy?
You just punch the shit out of your microphone?
No, I was like, move this. We were talking about this with Sean, where we were saying how, isn't it funny? And Rogan has said this plenty of times, how people who are vaccinated look down on people who are healthy and don't want to be vaccinated,
right.
Yet they're overweight, have other issues. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? And I just feel like if we could start promoting health and its wealth, You know what I'm saying? I think that more people would kind of be like, oh, well, if I have a better chance of surviving it like this versus getting the jab, then, you know what I'm saying? It's just like.
Did you see the video any chance of Dana White talking about calling Joe Rogan? So Dana White, president of the UFC, got COVID, right? And TMZ, he had him on. They had him on TMZ Sports, and he came out and said the headline was like, Dana White gets COVID, calls Dr. Joe Rogan.
Yeah,
so
I know.
he was calling him that.
Everybody wants to talk shit about that.
Yeah, so they were just, giving him a hard time. But I watched the full interview on TMZ Sports, and it was like, 3 or 4 minutes. And he was like, look, I called him. I wanted the protocol. He coined it as the kitchen sink, right? Like, I wanted to know what this kitchen sink was. What did he tell Aaron Rodgers? What did he tell, these other people? And he just talked about it. And I was like, wow, that just made sense. And it's so crazy that there's this protocol that you could do early on to beat this thing, which seems like 100% effectiveness, and it's just completely going ignored.
Like, I still feel like if you have underlying issues, yes, go ahead and get the shot, because you're probably needing to get protected because you're not already, as it is, healthy. So you should probably. There's a few cases, right, Rob, where I've seen where it's like they're completely healthy, supposedly, and then they still pass from COVID.
Yeah, there's been plenty of those examples.
So
yeah.
I get it. There's that, but there's probably less of those, but yeah, I just feel like we need to take life back in 2022.
Yeah, that's
right?
a good way to put it. And
I feel like I don't care where you stand, which side of the coin you're on, whether you're independent, whether you're I don't care. This politics aside, wherever you stand, I feel like it's time to take your life back if you've allowed for this pandemic to consume you and just kind of bring you down, because it did a lot. What's crazy is I went to Hobby Lobby to go finish doing my tree, right?
Love Hobby Lobby.
And same. And for the first time ever, I've never seen the Christmas stuff so empty, to where I couldn't find things anymore. I was like, what's going on? Like, why are y'all sold out of so much? Like, usually it's like y'all have an abundance of everything, of whatever it is. At least the one I went to, okay? But maybe there's other one. And then I told Lisa, I came back and I found things. I did the Candyland / gingerbread thing this year. I did that when we lived in our apartment and my tree was smaller. And I did kind of like a kid thing for Mickey, right? Versus this adult looking. I did an adult color last year where it was like real pretty and nice and elegant. And it was just kind of like, it was just nice and pretty. But it didn't kind of like feel like the Christmas spirit, if that made sense. Like, I don't know. I felt like it was like, oh, that's just pretty. But it didn't make me feel like, oh, it's Christmas, But Penny's older now, so she understands that there's Christmas. Your friend's actually supposed to be here.
Oh, cool.
Putting up my lights.
Awesome.
And so, so it's like those types of things. And so I went to go look for more gingerbread stuff because my tree looks empty. It still looks empty because I couldn't find anything. And so I told Louise, she's like, well, you brought a bunch of bags. I'm like, yeah, I bought these big old gingerbread guys that stand up. And it's like, they put like everything in one bag instead of fitting it all in one. And she was like, well, if you think about it, there's probably way more people celebrating Christmas this year. So they're actually putting up a tree because, remember that one year it was like, don't go to your family's house. It was like everybody's got COVID. You're celebrating at home. Yeah. You're doing Zoom, Merry Christmas type shit. So it's like this year you're actually going to go do it. So people are excited to decorate and celebrate. And I was like, isn't that crazy? If that is true, let's just say that is a theory, right? That people are excited this year. How did we allow this thing to let us scare us to where we weren't celebrating anything? I mean, I get it. We didn't know what was going on. So that was a huge part of it, right? We didn't want to
March
family
to
members.
December, we knew a lot more than we did, let's say, in May.
Yeah. And I just really thought, I was like, that's a very good point. I was like, oh, it made me more mad. I was like,
media.
Man, I was like, I let it get me. And it makes me so mad that I let it get me. Like I said, I've watched old vlogs of when the pandemic first. I'm glad I did vlogs when the pandemic first happened, because it's hilarious of how afraid I am of it, because I don't know. I told y'all, this man walks behind me and I'm vlogging. I'm like, ooh, y'all saw how close he got to me? I was like, he needs to walk. He is not 6 feet. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, shit like that, because I didn't know any better.
Of course, a lot of us didn't early on.
You know, and I just feel like I allowed this last year and a half for it to be taken away from me. We celebrated birthdays with drive-through birthday parties.
Whoa, with drive-by?
I know. It was a drive-by birthday, kind of. You know, you drive by.
Way to recover. Way to save it.
You know, and I just kind of feel like we did that. You celebrated, like, you know, birthdays through come drop off a gift outside your house.
Yeah, or you had tables outside 6 feet, 10 feet apart.
We did Mother's Day outside of Pete's sister's house. Every family had their own table.
Why even do it at that point?
We wanted to see each other.
Well, Zoom that shit.
We did. We had been Zooming. We'd have dinners together via Zoom. Everybody would set up their laptop on the fucking dining table.
Dude.
Is that not insane?
Not a damn thing changed in my family, which I hope nobody dies from this thing, because I'll look like a real idiot saying this, but no one, I mean, with the exception of like maybe 3 or 4 people, it was business as usual at the old Garza household, which, you know, I told my parents, is like, y'all are the older ones here. Like, y'all make y'all decision. Like, come on over. Like, we're not letting this shit. Like, we're old as it is. I mean, if it's time to go, it's time to go. But
yeah,
I'm not going to take two years off of our lives here to not see anybody and the kids and all that jazz. So.
And I just kind of felt like, you know, a lot of the things that I kind of felt during that time was, well, you know, we don't really know. So when my grandmother came to visit, I did wear my mask the entire time. And then my aunt said, hey, let's all go outside so that we don't have to have our masks on outside, you know, but mom will still have to wear hers. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't know. My grandmother's also 83 years old, 84. So it was kind of like, let her keep it on. Y'all don't have to keep it on if you don't want to, but let's go outside so we're not like in here having to wear a mask and we look dumb, you know? So we did that, you know, because everybody wanted to see my grandmother. She was in town. So yeah, a lot of the things that I've been thinking about lately have been that. It's like, I'm going to be laser focused right now on what's going to help me and my family move forward. I'm not going to allow any more of this media shit to scare me, which it doesn't anymore, but I'm just giving you an example. I'm not going to allow it to make me feel any certain kind of way. I'm going to still continue to do my own independent research, right? I'm gonna probably see CNN stuff. I am gonna probably see Fox things, MSNBC, whatever it is, but I'm also gonna do my own little rabbit hole thing where I get the facts and make sure that it's real and not real and not just some shit you hear and, you know, so and so said it must be real. You know, really, to be honest with you, it's really sad what Pete said the other day. He said, to get real news, you got to listen to Rogan.
Yeah.
Because he has legit real scientists, real legit people who have been like front line doing this, and they're giving you factual information. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like, well, so and so did it, and it's not like, well, like the one doctor I saw, I think it was on, I forgot whose account I saw, where he's already got the booster or whatever, and he's got the Omicron or whatever you pronounce. What is it? Omicron. And he gave the Omicron to somebody else who's also vaccinated.
Makes a lot of sense.
So, yeah, it's just one of those kind of like things where I just kind of feel like, no more. Don't tell me nothing. Like, that's why I don't post anything political on my shit. Trust me, I be wanting to repost some shit, you know? Trust me, I be wanting to but I just like, for what? Everybody already gets so much of it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to feed into that mess. Why don't I give you something better? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, for you to like read about, or for you to like analyze about, or for you to like laugh about, you know what I'm saying?
Totally agree.
Versus me continuing to feed to what everything else is that happening. So I'm not doing that. Like I said, I really want to take 2022. I want to like really push the let's come together, because I feel like we're missing community right now in the world, big time. Like we're not working together. We're totally working against each other. We're like arguing with each other. Families have split apart because of, you know, political issues. It's like views and where you stand and how you view something. And, you know, it's just fucked up. And I'm not having it in 2022. It's like middle finger to anybody who wants to try to bring that mess to me. And if it really means, this is what 40 does to you guys. If it really means that you no longer want to speak to me, I'm already okay with it. I'm already okay with it. Because as long as my girls are healthy and they're good and they've got food, and my husband and myself and my mom, like, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. We're good, then nothing else matters to me. You know what I'm saying? If you're willing to end a friendship of however many years over political views, you're probably the one with the problem, because you're taking this way more serious than I am. I'm not going to allow politics to kind of like take over my life. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because most people are, we didn't know where you stood politically before.
Yeah.
Until this happened, you know?
Yeah, Trump really broke this. He broke the matrix.
Yeah, he did. Literally. He really did. He really did. I'm not going to lie. He really did.
For better or for worse, because, I mean, for some people, they may not have seen a lot of the things that unfolded over the last couple of years, if that hadn't happened. And I think a lot of people had their own little psychological, shift, just because they're like, holy shit, like, I've been seeing everything through a completely different lens than reality.
Same. I'm guilty of that. And it happened slowly for me, and I'm okay with that. I'm glad I opened my eyes. And I'm glad that I'm a free thinker now, because I wasn't before. I'll just be honest with you. They were assigning an opinion to me, and I was letting it happen. And that's how I was training myself to think, because I was allowing the media to give me an opinion versus me really doing it myself. And it's not going to happen to me anymore. Like, you're not doing it to me. I'm going to be hella focused in 2022. I'm going to make a community of strong women where we are not going to allow, the media to fucking take over us. Whatever you want to teach your children, I don't give a shit what it is, but we're all going to be working together, because we're going to be working together to make a better community, and we can come up with the happy medium. It's compromising. Yeah. It's just a matter of working together, and no one wants to work together because they're fucking a bunch of power hungry motherfuckers.
Your vibe is your tribe, right? As the saying goes.
Yeah.
And I feel like Marisol's definitely on a mission to create the vibe that's like an inevitable, like, desire to just be a part of it.
We're about to be the future hippies. Where we're about love, peace, and community. Like, we are going to make it to where if you don't want to be a part of this community, then F you, and you go stay in your little crazy world.
But so we're going to be the future hippies, because it's, what did you say? Love, community, all that jazz, but through Zoom. Right?
Hell no. Hell
a lot of it is going to have to be through Zoom.
No.
A lot of it's going to have to be through.
We're not going to let that happen. I'm not going to let that happen again. One thing that I've noticed about Real Talk Kim is that she's careful about what she says. And I don't know if it's because it might be because that's how she makes her paper, right?
Sure.
And I get it. But one thing she will say is, like, you can't be afraid. And if you have faith and you have God in your heart, or whoever your God is, right? Then you shouldn't fear and shouldn't allow this craziness that's happening bring fear to you, which it did to me, right? It brought fear in many ways. Like I said, I'm scared now. Like, you took long today, right? I didn't know you were here. Yeah. And I started thinking, like, oh my God, I wonder if something happened to Rob because he's not here. Should I text him? And then I go to the camera to see, and I see that your car's parked in the driveway. Yeah. And I was like, oh, he's here. Okay, I'm gonna go back there. And I was about to text you already, because I was like, man, he's always on time. It's already 11:35. He's not here yet. I'm like, that's weird. And I started thinking about, what happened to Pete's cousin, going to get salsa, get shot over some road rage. So I do have that type of anxiety and type of fear. I do, because
stop to get a peppermint mocha and I got popped,
I mean, it's some crazy motherfuckers out there, Rob.
For sure.
So it's like, that's how you think now. It's not like, what the hell's taking him so long? Now it's like, damn, is he okay? You know what I'm saying? Like, when Luisa takes long, when she's late, because she's never late, I'm always like, I'll call her and be like, you good? She goes, sí, es que se me atravesó el tren. Oh, okay, great. I just want to make sure you're good. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Meanwhile, Luisa's like, sí, hombre.
Yeah, she's like, oh yeah, and she laughs. She's like, I said, es que usted nunca llega tarde. If anything, she's always like 15 minutes before, 20 minutes before. Like, she's here hella earlier before, you know, because she drives. She doesn't get on the freeway. She takes all feeder.
I just remember that. Yeah.
So she leaves like an hour and 30 minutes before. So she'll get here early because she doesn't want the train to get in her way, you know? So it's just little stuff like that. Like, I'm not allowing that shit anymore. It's just not. It's got to stop. And we all have to stop it because we're all allowing, this is how I view it. This is my opinion, guys. I think we're all allowing for the media to scare us. We're all allowing for the media to say what we have to do. We're all allowing for the media to say you have to get jabbed because it's the right thing to do. And if you don't, you're going to kill another person. That's not true. I'm sorry. And if you believe that, and I'm sorry, you better go back and read everything again. Like, go do some research because it's not true. Okay?
That's the first clip I'm making.
The vaxxed are spreading that shit too. Okay? Just as much as the unvaxxed. Let's just get real. And so let's just stop making that a division between us. Let's stop making a division of like, Trump supporters and Biden supporters. Let's just stop. You know what I'm saying? And let's just, like you say, Rob, at the end of the day, we all want the same things.
For sure.
We all want, you know, to be with our families. We all want to be able to pay our bills. We all want to be able to like provide a good education to our children. We all want the same things at the end of the day. So why are we allowing for you to allow for who you voted for separate us?
Yeah.
How silly is that? How effing silly is that?
Yeah, and I wanted to pose this question to you too about purpose. Like, I was talking to my mom the other day. I was telling you yesterday about social media and all this stuff, and it's funny how people are so open about everything a lot of the times with almost no reason. Like, some people, you know, don't have a rhyme or reason to be so damn open about everything online. They have no actual, you know, direction of influencing people. If they wanted to be an influencer, they don't have a business. They don't really have a purpose for it. They just want to, you know, they just want to air it all out there all the time. And older people just don't get that, right? But if you do have a purpose, whether it's online or in the you know, physical world or whatever, like, pursue that, right? But what do you think the purpose is right now, based off everything we've talked over the last 2 episodes? Like, what's the purpose of the soon-to-be HERR network, or HERR world,
The
HERR
purpose
rehab
is
center?
coming together.
Yeah.
Because we're not together right now. We're so divided. And I really feel like it's going to take, and the reason why I say women and not men, right? And it has nothing to do, I just think that us women, we take a bigger role a lot of, and what I mean by that is that we're mothers, we're wives, we're sisters, we're, you know what I'm saying, business owners. You're a bunch of things, right? While men view things a little bit different. I don't think y'all care as much. Y'all are more like, bitch, it ain't how it is. And you know what I'm saying? Fuck you if you don't, you know, men I think are more like, no, and that's it, right? Versus like, y'all aren't trying to make peace. You're more like, fuck him, I'm not talking that much. You know what I'm saying? I think women can be a little bit more tolerable towards each other, you know, where we're a little bit more like, let's come and make some sense. Some of us.
Interesting.
Some
take.
of us. Hold on. Some of us. I'm going to say some of us. Some of us. All right.
Interesting take.
Some
on
of us.
Men and women.
Yeah. I think men's purpose, I think a male purpose is a little bit different. And I don't mean that in a bad way, because you need both. But if you have a woman who encourages her spouse, her spouse feels encouraged, and then her spouse feels like they now can kind of do what they need to do to take over, and they have a vision of what their idea of taking care of their nuclear family is, their idea of like what they have to do so that their family can survive this manic world, right? So it takes two people, you know what I'm saying? And if you're not supportive because you think you're too good and you think you're Miss Independent and bitch whatever, you know what I'm saying? If you think that, guess what? You're continuing this mess of what the media is feeding us. You know what I'm saying? It is okay if you don't ever want to marry. That is fine too. But there's nothing wrong with men either. You see what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to hate them just because you don't feel you ever want to marry. Good for you. There's some men out there that never want to marry either. And that's okay. There's people that don't want to have children, women that don't want to have children. I feel that's okay. I felt like that for a long time. I feel you. I know that. But you don't need to hate on women who do have children, who do find it beautiful to stay home and, you know what I'm saying, take care of their kids and make sure that their husband has dinner when they come home. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what fulfills them. There's some women who are not fulfilled by that, and they prefer to be working moms, right? Who take care of their household when they get back from work.
Yeah.
And that's what they want to do. And I don't understand why there's this power thing where one's better than the other. There's no such thing. We're both good. And whichever one you want to do, be damn good at it.
You know, you mentioned how guys are like a lot more like, it is what it is, you know, fuck that guy, whatever, and just on with it. Whereas women, and in most cases compared to guys, are more about, you know, coming together and trying to have some kind of common ground, right?
Yeah.
I think you're right, and I kind of just had this thought. A part of it might just be that guys innately have this need to be a provider, right? And if you're hindering that in any sense, then you're immediately in the way, and you're gone.
100%. I told you that I follow this one account, is a conservative woman, granted. All right, I'll get that out of the way. But she talks to women who were these. I think I've said this before. They were these like, fuck you men, and da 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 da. And then there was one lady who said she was pissed at her husband for a really long time because they weren't making enough income together to where she had to end up quitting her job to stay home because it was cheaper for her to stay home and him work. And so for the longest, she just kind of like was making his life miserable, like, because she couldn't stand the fact that he got to do what he wanted to do and she was having to do what she didn't want to do, which was stay at home. She wanted to be a working mom, right? And so when she finally kind of like, granted, it's more through religion, she kind of found God, and then she found her purpose. It was like she apologized for her husband for never allowing, you know, for just always kind of like fighting him versus working with him. And his words and his testimony was, all I ever wanted to do was provide for you and my kids. I never had a problem with you not working. You wanted to work because you wanted to work, and I wanted to support whatever you wanted to do. But my only goal in life was to make sure you never had to work, you got to stay home with the kids, and that y'all were taken care of. And sometimes we get in the way of a man wanting to do what to some may seem machismo, right? Or whatever it is, right? But in all reality, and I'm sure there's some men out there that just are jealous and go overboard and, you know what I'm saying? So I know there's some of those guys. So I'm not going to act like there's not. But I'm just saying, like, overall, I just think, like, there is just, there's a lack of people, more couples wanting to make it work versus now it's easier for you to chunk the deuce and be like, it didn't work between us, we got to go. Versus sitting down and kind of evaluating, like, all right, excuse me, what's your issue? Okay, what's your issue with me? And I'll tell you what's your. And sometimes it's, you don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear what you don't want to hear the truth. But you're not perfect, and neither is he. So if you kind of both sit down and kind of talk about, and then it also is like, y'all both have to want to sit down too and talk about what the issues are. Otherwise, if one's wanting to talk and the other one's like, there's nothing for us to talk about, you know what I'm saying? Then I get it. At that point, it's like, yeah, then it's probably not going to work because this person's just not open to, you know, sitting down and just having a conversation about what can make this work, you know? And I don't think we do that enough, even in a relationship. I don't think we do that enough with people. And like I said, even if you sit down with another person who you just kind of dislike, and you just kind of say, listen, I just really don't like you because you're like this. Right. And they're like, well, yeah, I really don't like you because you're like this. Cool. Well, then we got to work together. I'm saying this for like the workplace, right? Like, okay, well, cool. I get it. So we have to work here, and we're going to have to see each other every day. So what can we do? Like, can we just like work together for the sake of work so that we can be successful and this can move forward? And we only have to see each other here. So what's the purpose of us always giving each other these dirty looks? You know what I'm saying? Or like doing shit that's going to hinder the other person or like fuck up their success because you can't stand them.
That takes a lot of introspective work that people don't tend to put in.
And it's even worse now. People weren't already doing it before, I feel. They're really not doing it now because there's this division of, you know, well, I'm better than you because, you know, I don't vote the same as you, you know what I'm saying? Or I'm jabbed and you're not. And you know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's not even a division of anymore of like success. Now it's like a division of I'm better than you because I got jabbed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Isn't that funny?
It's crazy.
It's crazy to me. And that's what I mean. Like I said, I'm not having this in 2022. I'm not. It's like, take your life back, guys. Take your life back. Take charge. Stop letting people influence you. Focus on your family. What's fucked up in your family right now? Like, what's the issues right now? Are you not having dinner together? Right? Like, what can you do to sit down and start having your family sit down together with no electronics at the table and actually have a conversation about how your day went? Just ask. And I know some men are like, God, I don't really want to sit there and have that conversation. Okay, cool. But maybe your kid has something that they want to say, right? Because we don't ask our kids enough. Like Penny, the first thing she says when I wake up or she wakes up, Buenos dias, mami. Why? Because I've done that to her since she was a little girl. Buenos dias, ¿cómo amaneciste? Bien. Okay, ¿dormiste bien? Sí. She asks the same questions to me every morning because those are questions that I've always asked her. Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
She's done with her. She went to Sunday school class for the first time, like I said, and I asked her, I said, how did it go? She goes, well, I didn't cry. I said, high five to that. And I said, and then? And she goes, I went to the restroom. I said, oh, yeah? I said, so what'd you say? Like, what'd you ask? She goes, I just said, I need to go potty. Because those are the first phrases I taught her when I was taking her to gymnastics. And because I wasn't allowed to be in there. So I wanted her to be able to tell the teacher if she needed to go pee, like, hey, I got to go potty. So I said, what did you say? She said, I just told her I got to go potty. I'm like, oh, okay. And so, well, that's good. I said, did you wash your hands? She goes, yes. She goes, and she explained how the bathrooms and the kids' bathrooms she could reach. And she's like, she wishes that her restroom in her house, she could reach the sink without having to stay. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the conversation starts about washing your hands. It's real simple sometimes. Like, just sit down and take a little bit of extra time, you know what I'm saying, and just kind of like have dumb conversations, because I mean, washing your hands is
we do that often with the twins. Like, it's great now that they're 7. Every year it's more and more. It's like, wow, even though they're only 7, it's like you're having full blown, like, I have had some of the better conversations with these 2 7-year-olds that I've had with people my age. Honestly, I swear.
I don't doubt it, Rob. I don't doubt it. And you know what's funny? I've noticed also now that whenever you talk to someone, you kind of don't know what to say because you don't know where they stand. You don't know if someone's going to fucking blow up or anything like that. I think it's the weirdest thing ever. We went to Luby's after church. Luby's says that you have to wear a mask, but there was a few people who weren't wearing the mask, but no one was enforcing it, right?
Yeah.
But the majority of people weren't wearing the mask, and it was funny because I could just feel people going, like, for those who weren't watching, they were like looking at us from the corner of our eye, like, why aren't they wearing their mask? But there was a few that were not. And the lady in front of us, she just kind of kept, like, she'd go like this. She had her hands on her chest, and she kind of would just look back to make sure how far we were from each other. I was following the rules of staying on our circle. You know what I'm saying? I don't like making anybody feel uncomfortable. Right. You know what I'm saying? I'm not that person, you know, but I also am not going to sit there and like be like, whoa, you're too close to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, go to your circle. You know, we didn't do that before.
Right.
Y'all remember? There's some motherfuckers that'll be right behind you at the grocery store.
Like, bitch, you in my bubble.
Like, you are way too close. And that's different, you know? But now it's like people are so weird with each other. And that's what I want to stop. And like, if I can get a community of people that listen to me and start a little bit making that work, they're not going to make it awkward anymore.
It's a move in the right direction, for sure.
Bro, I'm winning right there, because I'm not going to have this shit in 2022.
I totally agree.
I'm not. I'm 40 now. I'm done with it. Like Pimp C says, F you in the P, and you know, that's all I gotta say.
Well, that's the best way you could end this podcast.
Yeah, because that's all I gotta say. It's like, we've all got to take our life back. We have to take our life back, and we can't continue to. I don't care how many variants come out after this, guys. After this podcast, there's probably going to be a gazillion of them, right? Because they're going to keep mutating. It is what it is.
Yeah. It's an endemic at this point.
It's going to keep mutating. So, and you're going to have to keep getting a booster for every mutation. So just get prepared for that. If you've been vaccinated, you know, that was your choice, and I respect you for it. So just take your life back. Just don't let anybody like influence you. Don't make it a fight if somebody doesn't agree with you either. Just say, that's what's up, you know?
Yeah.
That's it. That's what's up. That's how you feel. I totally get you. That's not how I feel. So, but you know, moving on. What's up? How's your day?
Yeah, still break bread.
Like, let's just do it. Like, let's just do what it is, you know? One person that I did a, what do you call it? On the Women in Business episodes during the pandemic that I had her on my podcast. I now know she unfollowed me for, you know, saying that who I voted for, right? When I said we voted for Trump. So I still follow her, right? Yeah. I purposely reposted all her stuff. So I'm like, keep supporting women in business. She was on my podcast. Go listen to her podcast. She couldn't stand me after that.
I'm sure.
How can you be mad about that? Well, guess what she did?
She refollowed you?
She refollowed me, but I can't repost her stuff.
What?
Isn't that funny?
Dude, yeah. People crack me up, man.
Is that not funny? Bitch, I was fucking reposting your shit. And granted, I did it out of fucking just fucking with you because I think it's
I did it out of spite, but still.
I think it's silly. You know what I'm saying? It's silly that you have a business that I think is pretty fucking badass. And I told a bunch of people who follow me that your business is badass, but because you knew who I voted for, you go on and how stupid is that? How stupid is that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I absolutely do.
That's like somebody promoting my business, but because we don't see the same political views, I'm gonna be like, hey, don't repost me. No, I'm gonna message that person and be like, thank you for reposting my, you know.
Hey, money doesn't see color. Money doesn't see sides.
Thank you. And that's what this right here, just use it. Use your brain, guys. Free think everything. You're like, just don't allow this to happen. It's silly to me.
Dumb.
And that's why I had to do it. And yes, I know it's kind of petty, but I just wanted to prove a point. Like, how stupid are you? Like, you know what I'm saying? And I get it. Your business does well.
Yeah.
It does well. I'm happy for you. That's obviously why I had you on here. I said I'm looking for women who are doing great things. You were voted on by a lot of your peers. I think that's amazing that you have your own customers who follow me as well voted for you. How cool is that? I acknowledge how cool that is. And then you're going to turn around and be mad? Bro, that's so silly to me. Silly.
Look at my soul, all grown up.
Silly. Girl, come on now. Silly girl. Silly rabbit. Silly rabbit.
This might be my favorite episode.
I'm there, Rob. I'm there.
I like it. I appreciate it. I think it's great. I think it's beneficial whenever you can come to that conclusion on your own.
Totally. And if you haven't come to it on your own yet and you're working at it, I'm happy for you. And whatever conclusion you have, that's what I'm saying. Make sure whatever your vision for 22 is, make sure it's not influenced by anybody else but what you yourself want to create for the following year.
Absolutely.
And let that shit fucking like go for it, work for it, push it, and don't let anybody make you feel like what you are going to do is silly. They think it's silly because they're probably uncomfortable trying to do what you're doing. So with that being said, go and crush your dreams. Are we going to have this vision board fucking meetup or what?
Let's do it.
And let's just go at it, ladies. Like, and gentlemen, if you're even listening to this and you're a male, you're too. For my one listener, Gabriel.
It'd be me and Gabe.
Yeah. Gabe really listens. I love that he does.
He sent me a package to my P.O. box with a bunch of rubs for meat, like barbecue rubs, and the best thermometer I've ever used in meat ever.
You see?
That's community right there.
That is hella community. Yeah. Hella community. And that's what I'm talking about. And that's what I want to create here at HERR Lounge Podcast. So my patrons, thank you so much for always supporting me. And even if you don't agree with me, but you still think we can fucking rock together, I rocks with you too. So what's up? And let's kill it for 2022. Thank you guys so much for listening. Take over.